Hello, today we are going to see how to find square root of the perfect squares. So this method is useful only for those numbers which are perfect squares, and then we can find square root very easily. For non-perfect numbers, the method is different. So if you can look at this table, you can see if the unit digit of the question number, whatever number you want to find out the square root, if the unit digit of that number is 1, 4, 5, 6 or 9, then only that number can be a perfect square, first of all. If the unit digit of the question number is 1, that means the answer's unit digit has to be either 1 or 9. So if you look at any number which is ending with 1 or which is ending with 9, the square of those numbers will have the unit digit 1. Similarly, if the unit digit of the question is 4, then the unit digit of the answer has to be either 2 or 8. So you can consider any number which is ending with 2 or 8, and if you consider the square of those numbers, the unit digit of the square will be 4. Similarly, if the unit digit of the question number is 5, then the answer's unit digit has to be 5. Then the unit digit of the question, if it is 6, then the answer's unit digit is 4 or 6. And if the unit digit of the question number is 9, then the answer's unit digit is either 3 or 7. Now, generally we consider that we know the squares of first 10 to 12 numbers. That is square of 1, square of 2, square of 3 up to square of 10, 11, 12, which is 144. And those who are good in maths, they can also remember or they generally remember the squares of the numbers which are from 13 to 25 also. The square of 25 is 625. So generally, if you know squares of first 25 numbers, then you can find square root of any 6 to 7 digit number also. But even if you know the squares of numbers till 12, then also you can find square root of any 5 or 6 digit number easily. So as we have discussed, if the number's unit digit is not 1, 4, 5, 6, 9, then that number cannot be a perfect square. Because if you square any number, you cannot get 7 as a unit digit. Okay, so that is the basic rule. Now you have to be aware of the squares of first 12 numbers at least to use this method. And if you know the squares of numbers from 13 to 25, nothing like that. So if you know squares of first 25 numbers, this method is very useful. So now we'll take one example, and I'll explain one example for finding out the square root. Suppose you want to find square root of 7744. So the method says, the step number 1 of this method is first of all group together the numbers from the LSB. LSB of the number, the unit place of the number is this 4. So starting from right hand side, go towards left and make a group of 2 digits. Make a group of 2 digits for first 2 digits. And then make a group of remaining digits. So I'll make a first group of 2 digits which has 44 as a number, and then I'll make a group of remaining digits. In this case, I have only 2 digits left and the value is 77. Now look at the unit place. Now unit digit of the question, we have seen this chart. Unit place says it is having number 4. 4 says the unit digit of the answer has to be either 2 or 8. Either 2 or 8. So my square root of this number will end with either 2 or with 8. Now next step is look at the second group of number, which is 77, and now compare this number with the squares which you have with you, and just find out where this 77 can be plotted. So this 77 is between 64 and 81. This 77 number is between 64 to 81. Now step number 3, when you come to know that your second group is between 2 numbers, in this case 64 and 81, always consider the floor value or the lower value. In this case it is 8. Always consider the lower value. In this case, it is 8. It is also called as floor value in case of mathematics. So this is 8. So my answer, the square root of this number, because I know the unit digit has to be either 2 or 8, and then the 10th digit has to be 8. So that means my answer has to be either 82 or 88. That is confirmed. Now how to find what is the answer in between 82 and 88? So for that purpose, step number 4, the last step, look at the distance of your second group, which is 77, from the squares 64 and 81. So the distance of 77 from 64 is 13, and the distance of 77 from 81 is 4. Now consider the least distance, the minimum distance. The minimum distance is from the next value. So the answer has to be 88. And the square root of 7744 is 88. So this is how you can find out square root of any perfect square. So we'll take another example. Now I'll not explain all the details of all these steps. We'll just execute these steps and we'll see the answer. Suppose you want to find square root of 3969. So step number 1, make the groups. Group 1 of 2 digits from the right hand side, starting from right hand side, and then make second group of whatever remaining digits are. Look at unit place, it is 9. So the answer of this square root number has to be need to be end with 3 or 7. It will either end with 3 or either it will end with 7. Now look at the second group of numbers, 39, and look at the square root square number chart. So 39 is between 36 and 49. So we'll take the lower value, which is 6. So my answer has to be either 63 or 67. And in that case, now we'll calculate the distance of 39 from the squares. So from 36 it is at distance 3, and from 49 it is at distance 10. We always consider the distance, the minimum distance. The minimum distance is on the upper side, that is on the 6th side. So the answer has to be 63. And 63 is the square root of 3969. We'll take another example. Suppose now we'll consider 5-digit number. Suppose you want to find square root of 13,225. Again, the process is same. Step number 1, create a group of 2 digits starting from right hand side, and then the second group of whatever number of digits we have. In this case, now we will have 3 digits in second group, and the number will be 132. Now look at the unit place, it says 5. So the answer should have the unit digit of 5. Now consider the second group. In second group, now we have a 3-digit number, 132. And look for the table of square numbers. Where is 132? So 132 is between the square of 11, which is 121, and the square of 12, which is 144. Now in this case, we don't have to consider the distance and everything, because we don't have any options to choose between for the unit place. So unit place is fixed 5, and in that case of 132, we always take the lower value, so it is 11. So 115 has to be the answer. So 115 is the square root of 13,225. We'll take another example. Suppose 23,716. So if you are aware of the squares from 13 to 25 also, then you can find out answer of larger numbers also. So step number 1, create a 2-digit group from right hand side and create second group of remaining digits. Look at the unit place, 6. So my answer has to end with 4 or 6. So we have 2 options to choose from. Look at the second group, 237. Now in this case, 237 is between 225 and 256. And in that case, we take the lower value, which is 15. So my answer has to be either 154 or 156. Now in that, we'll calculate the distance of 237 from the squares. The distance of 237 from 225 is 12, and from 256 is 19. The minimum distance is 12, that is the upper number, so 154 is the answer. So 154 is the square root of 23,716. So this is how you can calculate square roots of large numbers, if you know the squares of first few numbers, at least 12. And if you know till 25, nothing like that. Now there are some exceptions for this method. Almost 98%, 99% numbers, in case of 98 to 99% numbers, you will find square root using this method. But there are a few exceptions, and one of the exceptions I'll explain. Suppose you consider number 1296. So there are few exceptions where this method is not applicable, very few exceptions. So 1296 will follow the process again. Step number 1, create the groups. Step number 2, look at the unit place. Step number 3, looking at the table, the answer has to end with 4 or 6. Step number 4, then we'll look at the second group, 12, now which is between 9 and 16. So we'll take the lower value, which is 3. So my answer has to be either 34 or 36. In that case, now we'll calculate the distance. Distance of 12 from 9 is 3 and from 16 is 4. The minimum distance is from the upper side. So as per our method, the answer has to be 34, which is not the case. This is an exception. Actually, the answer is 36. So there are few exceptions. As I have said, only 1 to 2% of the total perfect squares are exceptions. We cannot find square root of those numbers using this method. But in 99% of cases, you will find the answer of square roots for perfect squares. Thank you.